Hello, lacrosse fans. Welcome to the Air Canada Centre. It's the Vancouver Stealth visiting the Toronto Rock. Big playoff implications on the line for both teams. The Rock have lost 2 in a row at home. They'll try to defend their house tonight. Stealth, Rock, coming up. Welcome back to the Air Canada Centre, where the Toronto Rock will be playing the Vancouver Stealth. Toronto flew out of the gates this year, won a lot of close games, one-goal games, overtime games. Now they're in a position where they're having to fight to retain first place in the East Division. They need wins to clinch home floor through the playoffs. Vancouver just wants to get into the playoffs. Hello, lacrosse friends. I am Stephen Stamp. I am joined by the professor, Glenn Clark, and it should be a great game tonight because it is important to both of these teams.
Yeah, it really is. Probably more so for Vancouver in terms of getting into the playoffs, but Toronto still wants to keep that momentum and be building towards the playoffs as opposed to going the other way.
Vancouver's got Calgary nipping hot at their heels. Vancouver also has their starting goalie, Tyler Richards, out. Rookie Eric Penny has had to step in. He did a pretty good job for them against Edmonton last week. Not enough, though, as Edmonton won both games. Really put Vancouver in a perilous position, and they seem like they're struggling to really establish their identity this season.
Yeah, and losing Richards is a big blow. I mean, he's a premier goalie in this league, and if they're going to have success, he would be a big part of it. The one thing I noticed with Vancouver is you really notice a difference between their scoring distribution. Dutch is, the closest player to Reese Dutch is almost 20 points.
Yeah.
And, with the teams we see, the teams we like, the offenses we like, the Edmontons, the Torontos, you see more of a balance throughout their lineup. They're dangerous from a lot of different places. And I think that's one of the things they need to do is try and find that balance and throughout their lineup.
Logan Schuss may help that. Certainly Corey Small has played pretty well for them since he's been there. Schuss with 11 points in his first weekend with the team. So that's a big factor to try and get that balance you're talking about and be a more dangerous team heading down the stretch.
Yeah, and going into tonight, I mean, the power play is always a big issue. Toronto's penalty killing has struggled the last couple of games. I mean, they're still one of the best in the league, but they've had a bit of a dip the last couple of games. And if that's an area with the addition of Schuss with that big shot where they can take advantage, that's something that can make this game closer and make them a lot more dangerous.
Speaking of power plays, you did some research, found a very interesting stat about Toronto's power play recently.
Yeah, well, I mean, we all know the emergence of Rob Hellier and what a dominant player he's become. And I was just checking what their power play looked like in his absence. And prior to him getting hurt, they were number one in the league. They were clicking, and in my opinion, had the best, most dynamic power play. But since he's been out the last 2 games, be it a small sample size, they went 3 for 13 at a clip of about 27%. So that's that shows a bit of the impact that he has on it. I mean, you don't want to get too excited after 2 games, but it certainly shows what he brings to the table.
One factor could be Kevin Crowley, acquired for last week, didn't get to practice with the team, didn't really play on the power play. This week, he's had a practice. Will he step in and help them? Probably. We're going to wrap things up here, go down to the floor for the anthems. We'll be back. Vancouver Stealth, Toronto Rock at the ACC right after this.